Oh my goodness. Oh, I was lost track of time. I was over here typing out notes. All right, it is 7:03, so I think we can get started here. Um, this is the May 21st, 2025 Bristol Energy Committee meeting. And looks like we got a few members of the public, which is great. Always love to see that. The first item on our agenda is citizen comments and concerns. So we'll start with Gary. Do you have any citizen comments or concerns?
Oh God, I've got like tons of them, but none of them for this committee.
Fair enough. What about you, Jim? You have anything this evening?
Nothing yet.
Oh, nothing yet. That's right. Always with the qualifier, Jim. I love that. All right. Um, okay. The next item is approval of, or if anyone has anything to add to the agenda, anything that's not on there, that we want to talk about. Nope. Seeing nothing. Okay. Okay. And then the last standard item of business, approval or any comments on the April meeting minutes. If anybody has any comments that you haven't already shared with me, let me know. Um, Otherwise, I think we're good to go. Yeah. Okay. All right, into our standard business items. The first one is the town energy plan grant through the block grant, energy efficiency and conservation block grants. So I reached out to Julian, I think after our last meeting, just to kind of see was there anything that Bristol needed to do for that. That's the one, if you remember, where it's Bristol, and a couple other towns in Addison County. We're kind of pooling together to have our town energy plans kind of get a facelift, a refresh. And as far as I know, the grant was awarded to the towns. I have not heard from Julian if there's anything we need to do to kind of keep it moving, but I'll keep that one on my plate to just kind of follow up on. At this point, I'm not sure what the next steps are. But if Bristol needs to do something, I think Julian will definitely let us know, and we can kind of be the you can kind of help shepherd that along in whatever way we need to. But as far as I know, there hasn't been any update on that. I apologize for the delay. I am just typing out a few notes here.
Hey, the fact that you're doing both jobs, chairing the meeting and doing the minutes is like
That's amazing.
unprecedented. So we are just psyched.
All right, well, let's get into something interesting and exciting that I know everybody wants to talk about. The SEAC Energy Navigators Veep event. Just a reminder for everybody that is coming up on June the 18th at Holly Hall. Um, and I put a couple sub bullet points in the agenda here to kind of focus the conversation. So just before we get into those, I have been communicating, and it's been a little quiet relatively recently, but I have been communicating with Veep and SEAC, so Adalia and Shannon and Janet, to kind of just you know make sure we're not missing anything, kind of just make sure everybody's aligned. I'll check in with them again after this meeting just to kind of re-up it again to just make sure they don't need anything from us. So we can maintain that. I don't mind being sort of point of contact with them going forward. I think that's fine. So the first item to talk about, and I think this could probably go pretty fast, but the flyers and front porch forum posting. So Dan took the great initiative to redesign the flyer, which I think is great. Um, I did reach out to Ian to see if there was any issue with putting, Bristol Energy Committee on the flyer or anything like that. He hasn't gotten back to me, and I don't see a reason why that would be an issue to just say, hey, the committee will be there. I mean, unless Jim, maybe you know of a reason why we shouldn't do that. Um, okay. So I think, Dan, if you want to run with the redesigned flyer. Oh, go ahead, Jim. Go ahead.
What is the flyer for?
It's for the event that Veep and SEAC is hosting at Holly Hall that we kind of coordinated with them. They're hosting it. We're just kind of saying, hey, the Bristol Energy Committee, we're part of, the group that's going to be there.
There should be no reason you can't do that.
That's what I'm thinking too. Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
we've done so many things like this before where we just do a weatherization thing for the people to learn what they
Yeah.
can do. It's pretty much exactly what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay. Yeah, I
Could
mean,
be-
I just haven't done it
Yeah.
before, so I didn't want to overstep. I didn't want to, kind of if
Yeah.
I don't have the history with the energy committee like a lot of you folks do. So just trying to make sure I got all my T's crossed and I's dotted here. So
Be good to make the public aware more of the committee.
yeah, I think that's the idea. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, Dan, I think if you want to run with it, I'd say go for it.
Okay, yeah,
And I'm glad to help out with any posters too, if you want.
okay, yeah. I thought I would just run, a couple dozen, so we can ask the folks downtown and put it in their windows and whomever else seems like a
Great.
good idea. Maybe we can get it in the library,
Yeah, I'll be glad to put one in the office space where I am, the old high school.
Right.
Um,
Terrific.
Put one
Okay.
there.
I'll get them whipped up and disseminate around if anyone wants some.
Great.
Sally, you're on the list.
Great,
I wonder,
thanks.
do we want to contact people like Maggie and see if New Haven wants to put one up somewhere or
That would be great, Richard. I tried reaching out to Starksboro and New Haven. I couldn't really find any contacts for people in New Haven. I don't really know anybody in New Haven.
Yeah.
So I couldn't quite figure that out. And then I emailed Starksboro, like has an energy committee email address or something on their website or on the Starksboro town website, but it bounced back and I don't know any, like I sent the email and it bounced back. So I don't know anybody in Starksboro either. So maybe if anybody else has some contacts that they could leverage, that would be great.
Richard.
I can definitely get in touch with New Haven.
Yeah, Richard Fazy would be a good,
For Starksboro.
yeah. I could, Dan, if you send me the file,
Mhm.
then I'll use that as an email to some people at Starksboro. And actually, I've got an email address for the head of the Energy Committee in Heinsberg too.
That's great.
So I could send it to her.
And if you send one to me, then I can send it to Maggie in New Haven and maybe a few others that I can think of.
What
Like
about
Link.
people like in Virgins and,
Yeah,
even,
that'd be
yeah,
great.
right?
Yeah, what's her name in Virgins?
Yeah, I'll find her name. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I will, just to cover all the bases, I will send a print ready PDF to
Great.
to everyone.
Okay.
great.
And if you don't need to use it, you don't have to, but I will print out a bunch and we'll get downtown covered for sure.
Excellent.
I wonder if we ought to send it. I think I'll send it to the Act on Climate Coalition.
Yep.
Um,
How about the 350 Vermont people, the Addison node?
Yep.
So we could just cover, as much of Addison County as we can.
Yeah,
Yeah, since we have Holly Hall instead of Howden, we've got
Yeah.
space.
yep.
And that's a perfect dovetail into the next item I have on here, which is the thing we're going to try to entice people with, which is food. So I have no experience with event planning and I have no idea what to expect in terms of head count. So I can coordinate with like covers on getting food and like I know Courtney talks to Drew a lot, so I think I can figure that part of it out. But just maybe leaning on some more people here who maybe have more experience in terms of what we should expect in terms of head count, and then like kind of how to plan the food around how many people we think will be there. I don't know.
It's hard.
I see
Yeah,
that
I know, it's
Richard has
impossible.
I think Richard has a hand waving.
Now Richard's scratching his palm.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I mean, do we have a budget? Because if we're talking about inviting all these other, areas, at a certain point, we have to say,
Yeah,
well, we're not going to buy food for 5
Right.
towns.
no,
For
no,
sure.
I wonder,
What time is it actually? What time is the actual event again? Oh, I have it right here, probably.
6:30, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Veep. Oh, 5 to 8:30 is probably the
That's when
time
we,
we have it.
That's a
Yeah,
time we have probably
it's
off.
six,
Yeah.
6 to 8 is the event time that's on the
Okay.
flyer. So I think we were targeting that 2 hour window.
Okay, so, yeah,
I mean, we could give it some thought if nobody has a sort of good gut reaction or has any experience on this. That's okay. I don't think we have to decide it right now, but um,
Well,
just something to keep in mind.
I
So
think
go
we
ahead,
ought to
Richard.
decide, are we going to go for something like pizza or cookies? Um, it'd be kind of neat to have pizza, but
I think if we're in the dinner window, pizza makes sense. And I've already thought about it. Like I don't mind like privately financing this through my own means. Like that's fine. This is a good community event. It's fine. Like I'm not concerned about that. I just want to be I don't want it to be like overwhelmingly like why did we get so much or like it's gone in 5 seconds. Like I want to find the balance between those two outcomes and I just don't know, you know. Uh,
I think we're not gonna know for a while until we hear
yeah,
a little bit about people's interest.
sure.
Um,
Sure.
maybe Drew would have some thoughts on that because they're approached by organizations all the time, and they might have
Sure.
a
Yeah, like
thought.
a concept, an idea. Yeah.
I'll I'll share it with you, the cost. I'll go 50-50.
We could figure that out, Richard. Yeah,
Okay.
that's but let's yeah, that's fine. We don't need
Okay.
to navigate that right now. But yeah, that's fine. I'll talk to yeah, maybe let's get the message out, let it breathe for like a week or two, see if there's interest or see what kind of engagement maybe we get from people that we talk to. And then I can talk to Drew and see what he thinks maybe.
And
I think that makes
I'm
sense.
happy to make a couple batches of cookies or do like a veggie platter or something. I'm happy to do something like that.
That's a great idea.
nice.
I could do both. I could make a couple batches of cookies and put together some veggies.
Now you're starting to fill all that time that you just
I
gave.
know. See, that's why I did it.
Now, if we have this kind of stuff there, it could be we get more people. If we say that we're gonna have this.
Yeah, come have a slice of pizza and cookies, and that'll attract me.
Okay, so I've just been typing some notes here. So, we'll give it some thought. We'll see kind of what kind of engagement we get from the other folks that we reach out to. I'll talk to Covers, and we'll figure out the finance, private financing part of it later. That's not a concern. Did anybody have anything else with the event specifically that they wanted to talk about? Was there anything else related to this?
I was just going to mention you had Front Porch Forum posts on
Oh,
there as
yes.
well.
Yes. So, that's right. I think if we just like if one of us once a week or something going forward wants to just put a message out and we can just use the same language from the flyer,
Mhm.
I think that would be good. That way it's consistent. So if you see it on Front Porch Forum and then you see it at the library, it says the same thing.
Yep.
So I mean, I know it's kind of hard to coordinate exactly who's going to post when, but I think if we just kind of space it out a little bit, I mean, we've all posted on Front Porch Forum before, so I guess my point is I think just using the same language from the flyer is the key. I think if we can do that, and that'll definitely go a long way too for getting the word out.
Ben, what do you think in starting the first week of June? So do it for those, the week of the 2nd, the week of the 9th, and then the week of the
And then the week
16th.
of, yeah, I think
Do
that
it
makes
like,
sense.
okay.
Yeah,
Should we
that's a
just,
good idea.
do you think it's worth us just saying who's gonna do it those, so that we don't end up having
Yeah.
3 do it in one day?
Sure.
I can do it. I can do it, like on the 9th.
Okay. And which day of the week are you doing it?
I was thinking Monday. I don't know. Does
Okay.
anybody have any input on what is the best day for people? I don't know. I don't know if there's a good marketing strategy or what.
Maybe I'll do it on Tuesday, the 1st. Is that, am I thinking of the right thing here? Oh, no,
The third?
I'm
The
sorry,
third?
I'm in July, never mind.
The 3rd?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
maybe the 3rd, 10th, and 17th, because it's on the 18th, right?
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So make sure you have the day before.
Yeah,
That's a great idea. 3rd, 10th, and 17th. Okay.
yeah.
Got Sally on the 3rd, Allison on the 10th. Any takers for the 17th? I'll do it. I don't care.
I'll do it. Yeah.
I'll let Richard do it. All right. 17th. All right. Excellent. Cool.
Do we need to coordinate a little bit about, so sending out the flyer? So I'll send it out to the 350 people and, because I think we'll hit a lot of Addison County, a lot of Middlebury people, Weybridge people, Virgins people.
I'll send the poster to Maggie in New Haven.
Maggie Eaton.
Yeah,
I'll take care of Starksboro and possibly Middlebury.
I could look into Virgins too. I think that is a good idea. So
Yeah, I
I'll,
think her name's Cheryl Brinkman. I think that's
that's
her
it.
name.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yep, Cheryl.
Thank you.
It came to me. It just took a minute.
Great. And if she's moved on to someone else, then I'll find out who that is from.
Maybe we ought to let Joylan know too at
Yes,
Regional Planning Commission.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Let's send him one.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that?
I can do that if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, because maybe he could, put the word out as well,
Yeah.
for people he knows.
Excellent. Okay.
And we've already Ben, have you sent it to Shannon and Adelia?
Yeah, I don't know if I sent them the revised one yet, but
Okay.
I will. I will do that. I will take
Okay.
that one.
Because they can put it out in their network as well.
Yep.
And Dan, are you going to send that
To all of us.
to all of us, or is that coming through Ben, or what's going on?
The flyer I'll send to you all again.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, and that's different than the post we'll be putting in, right? So, right?
Right.
Okay.
Fresh email string, right, Dan? I feel like I got so many emails, so it'd be good to have a nice new clean email string with it attached.
Mhm.
Just a new subject line just brightens up the day, doesn't
It
it?
sure does, doesn't it? Okay. All right, this is great. This is fun and exciting. It's moving forward. That's exciting. Okay. Anything else on the Energy Navigators or Veep event? Hearing none. Okay. The next item on the agenda is to just talk generally about the BEC logo design. So Dan put together a great logo. I think it looks great. I don't know if anybody else had any thoughts or feedback on it. If how we could, first of all, do we like it, and then how could we leverage it, or what could we use it for? As well, I think would be good to discuss as well.
Dan, can you pop it up for us?
Yeah, I was just wondering if I have share ability. I do. I have the tool
Woohoo!
here. Yes, but now I have to go look for it because I wasn't reminded.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
Well, while
Um,
you're doing that, I'll just say that Dan and I had a little email back and forth about possibly trying to get the shape of Bristol's hills in there. Like the cliffs and South Mountain coming in, and then Mount Abe in the background.
Yeah, the notch.
yeah.
The nod, so it's not very it doesn't seem like it might not fit as well with the beautiful, nice arch that Dan has. But if it could, it would be so great to have actual Bristol, the look of Bristol in it, instead of, a mountain that's not really us. Doesn't
Yeah.
really look like Bristol. So that's just something I've thought about a little, but you know, I don't want to make it a pain in the butt. But I think that if we could use the scene from right at the corner of 116 and 17 is a beautiful look at South Mountain, Bristol Cliffs, and the Mount Abe right smack in the middle. It's a gorgeous view. If we could get that line of the, um, you know, the distant line of the mountains, it would be really great. And then just put this over it.
Are you seeing the logo? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are.
Right.
Okay. I don't see the usual little border around my screen to see which one I'm sharing. So, um, yeah, I agree with that, Sally. And I actually have a photo of that spot I shared with you,
Yeah.
and I kind of sketchified it a little bit, so
Yeah.
um so I could kind of make it look in the same style. I just haven't gotten my wife Midori to
Yeah.
show me how to do it really well.
Here's
So
a,
I'm not going to show the ugly
yeah.
sketchified version yet, but I
Huh.
think we can still use the whole
Yeah.
kind of sun ray theme,
Mhm.
just with with Hogback, South Mountain, Mount Abe sort of thing happening. Maybe not quite as dramatic as, pointy mountain like this, but
Yeah.
I think
But
it still could work.
it'll hit home though when people see it, if they
Yeah,
see our scene.
yeah.
There's one other thing in going to Kimball's, they're like magicians over there. And I've had different things done, a lot of things done by them. And if you put your thing like this and you just brought them that line that you're talking about, they might be able to just and put it right in. They're magicians over there.
Okay.
And they love to
Good to
help
know.
out with stuff like that.
Good to know. Good to
Yeah.
know.
I'd be glad to be a part of it if you wanted it all, but whatever.
Okay, well, I know I've already kind of roped Midori into committing a little bit more
Okay.
time on it, so
All right.
I don't want to take that joy away from her, the joy of
Yeah,
the
Okay, great,
activity.
I think
Um,
let them work it out.
yeah.
great.
But then, yeah, I think, obviously we're not going to just call it good. This has to go through however many iterations. We want to be really happy with this because it
Yeah,
may end up being used a lot of places. So,
yeah.
yeah.
When I was over at the high school looking at different angles of the mountain and stuff, one of the cops came by and I said, "Oh, I'm just, looking at the mountain and sketching." And I told him what I was doing. He goes, "Oh, that's so cool. You're gonna do something that looks like Bristol." He was just like psyched,
Nice.
that we're gonna, the Bristol Energy Committee was doing this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This will be a
So, yeah, the general idea, we've got the one that's kind of square-ish, but then we've also got a more horizontal one that works for, we just have different applications for
yeah.
the same theme, but
great.
in both cases you get this sort of warm energy vibe from it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, not a whole lot of explanation needed, but yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, I think it looks great too. Yeah, I think it's a great concept. And yeah, I think if you want to just work on it a little bit more until you feel like it's dialed in a little bit better or a little more like the way you want it, that's fine too. I mean, I did also as part of reaching out to Ian about the flyer, I was like, "Hey, we're also kind of, we're workshopping, or Dan's workshopping a logo for the committee for things like t-shirts or, other sort of, general things." To just see what the protocol is there with that. I think once we're all happy with what the logo looks like, we'd probably have to go, send it to the town administrator for their feedback, and probably select board too. But again, I haven't heard from him yet about that, but I'm just, it's out there. So but
Yeah.
we can obviously continue to workshop it in, as part of this.
I
Um
mean, I truly think that if it had something that looked like Bristol, tons of people are going to buy it. But if it doesn't, it might not be. It's just kind of like a Bristol Energy Committee thing. But
Right.
hometown, there's a lot of hometown pride around here, you know?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I had a random thought not connected to this at all, but I don't want to lose it as I do all the time. I I wonder about approaching Shaw's for cookies. They're very generous in other ways, and I bet they would donate some of their, um, fresh baked cookies. So, do you want me to check on that?
Yeah, I'd say definitely. I'll write it down in the notes, but yeah, for sure, Richard. If you could do that, that would be
Okay.
great.
Okay.
All right, back to regular business. Carry on, everybody.
Sorry.
Got to catch those stray thoughts when you have them, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
All right, well, we'll keep workshopping this. You'll probably see another draft or two or 12 before we're done here. But
I think that if you want, it probably doesn't have to be till not, not wait till next month. Like you could probably work with 3 people here or something, and we
Sure.
could be the committee that like, whatever.
Yep, sure. Just need to carve out some time on this end to
Yeah.
make it happen. But yeah, great. Thanks for all the feedback.
Thanks for the
Yeah.
idea and
Thanks, Dan. That's a great idea.
initiative.
This is why we were recruiting you so hard, Dan. We need new people to come up with stuff like that. I'm doing the note taking, Dan's doing logos. It's
We
great.
got to get these shirts.
Right.
I
Well,
don't know what
yeah.
I'll do with the other 2.5 years of my tenure on the committee, but
Well, don't go too fast. Things, we are designing the logo. This could take a few iterations,
that's
like you said.
that's true. Don't want to suppose
Don't go too
anything's going to
fast.
happen.
What's this business about only 3 years, Dan? This is a sentence.
First
Oh.
3 years.
This is a Hotel California sort of thing. Okay,
Never leave.
I've checked in. I'm not leaving now, huh?
Okay, continuing on. The next agenda item is the update on the EV charging station. So I reached out to Norwich, and as far as I know, they gave me a site plan. I asked them for a site plan and a one-line diagram, like an electrical schematic of what it's going to look like. Because as far as I know, the ball is kind of in their court to line everything up, design it, and then ultimately install it. They gave me a site plan that I have misplaced. No, here we go. Let's see if I can pull this up. I mean, I think everybody probably has an idea of what this is going to look like, but and if we already looked at this last month, I don't think we did.
I don't
But if
think
we
so.
did, you can just let's see. Adobe. Okay, can everybody see that?
Mhm.
Yep.
So to kind of orient everybody, this is the back of Shaw's. Then there's no north arrow on here, but north is up the page. So this is the back of Shaw's. This is that kind of walkway, and then Farmhouse Chocolates is here. So I guess there's a transformer here. The new transformer will go here, and then the meter and the panel itself for the charging station is going to be this like lighter gray box, and then they've just kind of sketched out the yellow for the parking spaces themselves. So I had not understood that it was going to be on this, like that the existing electrical service was here. I had thought we were going to do something with this pole that's here, but it's actually not. It's going to be all underground. So all these blue lines are going to be the underground. Well, I guess maybe not this one because that's where the charging stations are. But the service from GMP is going to be underground. So this is the plan view that they sent me. I don't think there's anything really for us to do with it. It's just interesting as kind of like a concept. So I think the next thing is I just got to keep bugging them, I guess, to just see kind of where things are at with it. But
I'm looking at this and I'm having a hard time realizing like this is Mountain View Street by that red thing, and then above is Mountain View Street, but that's not really true. Like, how can there be two streets?
Yeah, that on the left there, that is the co-housing community, and it's called Sprout Street
Yeah.
back there.
Yeah, right behind Shaw's isn't Mountain View, is it?
this one, right off of farmhouse, or right where the farmhouse chocolates is.
Farmhouse, yeah,
Yeah.
Okay,
farmhouse.
yeah, Mountain View is true. That part's true
That's right.
up there. But this one over here is,
That's Sprout Street.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this looks like it was just like a snip from Google Maps. I don't know.
okay,
I don't
Yeah.
think
okay.
this isn't
But
like
it's
an
okay.
engineered.
That's, I understand now though, now that you've pointed that out, now that I can let go of that other Mountain View Street, now I know where we are. Yeah,
Right. So I guess then yeah, Walgreens is like the bottom left corner.
Oh,
This
that's
looks
it.
like the corner of Walgreens.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And then this is that like dirt kind of walkway area between Shaw's, and I think if you were to go a little further down the page, if there was a bit ability to do that, like the last couple parking spots are right there, I
Yep.
think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was just interesting to see the concept. I don't, like I said, I don't think there's really anything for us to do with this, but at least somebody's thinking about it and drew it up a little bit. So,
Yeah,
There will be,
that's great.
whoops.
there may be a need for us to think about beautification of that walkway.
Yep.
It's kind of nasty.
Yeah, it's a little dingy.
And I
Um,
don't know what role we'll have. Probably the town, I guess, will be dealing with the signage, getting people to it.
Yeah.
Both walking and driving.
Right.
Maybe Bristol Core would like to do a design contest for the
Yeah,
walkway.
The Core is very much aware of this project. So yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I should talk to Bristol Core about that.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe a nice little mural on that wall or something.
You know,
Yeah.
there was a there. I think I just heard that Bristol Core put in for like a community art grant. So
Yeah,
maybe there's something there with that.
oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah,
great.
I would think that Bristol Car Housing, as a member, would love to be part of that since Shaw's is basically our pantry. I go there almost every day. It's
yep.
just 200 feet away, so I go through
Yeah.
that dingy little spot a lot.
I could see that mural of electric cows.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's the latest on that. I'll keep bugging Norwich about where things are. I mean, I know there's the financing part of it that's moving pretty slow, but I'll stay on them. Just because it's feels like we've been talking about this particular one for a while, so we just gotta stay on top of it, be the positive inertia, right? That's
Yeah.
what we always say. So
Thanks, Ben. You've been a part of it since you first got here. That was like the
yeah.
first meeting was meeting on the green and talking about
Yep.
charging stations.
Yeah, that was when I met everybody. That was when it
Yeah.
was like I'm not just a box on a screen. I mean, I am most of the time, but not that was the first time when it was like in
Yeah,
person.
it's like, wow, you're
Yeah,
a real
wow,
person.
really,
Let's chat.
exactly, yeah. Okay, next item on the agenda is an update on MERP. I don't know
So
what's
I
going on with
I
MERP.
can talk to that. So
Go for it, Allison.
we got a proposal from VIA. And Ian sent it out to all of us and asked us for any feedback. I know David provided some feedback. I provided some feedback to Ian today. But it looks like the way that the proposal is, hold on, I'm just gonna pull something up real quick so I can look at it. Maybe. So there's like five phases. Well, that's not the right thing. Hold on. Anyways, there's five phases, and the first phase is basically the design phase. And I believe that the plan is to have that happen in June. And then we move into getting more of the details and stuff. So I think the way that it's phased out, it has like phases that go up until March of next year, and March of next year is when we've kind of worked through with Meredith that Holly Hall will be available, to start doing the actual construction.
Oh,
So
good.
the plan gets us right up to that. So, did you all see the proposal or no?
The final one? I
No,
mean,
the one from VIA, the proposal from VIA.
I haven't
No.
seen it. No.
no. Mhm.
I think, Ben, do you have access to the base camp, MERP project? Are you on that?
I'm not. I asked Ian about that a while ago, and I don't know if it ever got anywhere. I don't think I have access to that.
Okay, okay. I know David and I both do, so, hold on one second. If you want to bear with me a moment, I'll get there. Okay, so the proposal. So the phases of the proposal are. So actually, okay, just this might be of interest to you guys. So the architect who's actually going to be doing most of the work is a Bristol resident. His name is Nick Wood. He has worked with them for about 6 years. So he's going to be the lead, kind of the lead, doing all the work. Asher's going to be kind of like the overseer, and Nick's going to be doing most of the work. And then there's another designer that's going to be working with Nick. So there's basically two people. They're going to use a company called Engineering Ventures to do the structural. There's not going to be a lot of structural engineering work, but they're proposing using them, and they're proposing using Du Bois and King for some of the electrical and mechanical systems. I put out a concern that, the numbers that we got from Du Bois and King in the first assessment weren't very real. So I just asked the question to Ian about that to make sure that, we're not gonna have this really low ball proposal from them and then it's gonna, be totally different. So that was a question that from my experience, I just asked the question. So phase one is pre-designing and planning, and yeah, that is estimated to happen in June. I'm assuming there'll be like a kickoff meeting and working through that. Then there's the schematic design and pricing phase, which is proposed to be July and August of this year. So that's phase two. Phase three is design, development, construction, documentation, and permitting, and that looks like that's going to be August through October. And then bidding and negotiations, November and January. And then the construction phase, which is phase 5, is March 2026 through, the end of fall 2026, when we're supposed to have the money spent. So it looks like a pretty comprehensive, schedule. And I'm assuming the next steps are for, I think Ian asked for our input. David and I both gave him some input. So I'm assuming that we will be locking this down here pretty soon to get going. So yeah, so I think things are underway. Some of the questions I asked, like the question about Du Bois King, and then the question about, is VIA going to help us find a contractor? Because up to date, we've not had a lot of success with that. We've had 4 or 5 contractors that tell us, that they don't have time or they aren't interested. So it'll be interesting to see, what happens there. And this proposal covers both Holly Hall on the MERP grant, as well as the library with the grant that they got. So they basically have put the 2 projects together. And that's what VIA has proposed, is working on both of them simultaneously.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. Glad to hear there's some great momentum there.
If anybody's interested, I can certainly send the proposal to folks if you want to see it.
I'd like to see it. Just as an engineer, I'm curious
Yeah.
what
Okay.
that looks like.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll send it.
Can't let the architects have all the fun,
Mm.
That's That's our engineer joke. It's fine. Okay, awesome. So it sounds like that's moving forward. And I guess the select board, Ian, and like the town administrator and the select board have to sort of like approve it and like do all the
Yeah.
signing and all that sort of stuff, right? For to like
Yeah,
actually move forward.
Yep, and I think I think Ian's plan was he wanted to get our feedback because he's planning on presenting it on at the June 2nd select board meeting. So if anyone's interested in, I'm going to be out of town on June 2nd, but I don't know, Ben, if you're available and you want to log into the select board
Definitely.
meeting, it might be worthwhile just to hear what they say.
Absolutely.
And I may even be able to log in from my vacation spot in the evening.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that one on my calendar, make sure I'm
Okay.
attending.
Okay,
Cool.
perfect.
That's great that they were able to tie in that the library too. That's great. There's
Yeah, I
probably
think
some savings there too, right? In terms of
yeah,
just the
definitely.
efficiency.
I think that was the thought. And I think the thought was that if it was a bigger project, we might have better luck enticing a contractor to work on it if it was, if it was big enough.
Yep. Makes sense. Does anybody have any other questions or thoughts about MERP? Okay. The next item on the agenda is one that came up a couple weeks ago now. Julian with the Addison County Regional Planning Commission reached out about seeing if Bristol was interested in well, us and Ferrisburg as well. He wrote to both us and Ferrisburg to see if we had any interest in co-hosting the county energy fair with Virgins' energy committee. I think last year, Sally, correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe Allison too. You guys went to the
Yeah.
Virgins energy fair, right? Yeah,
We did.
yeah. So the
I
ask. Oh, go ahead, Sally.
I was just gonna say I was there the year before too, the first year they did it. It's a great event. It doesn't get a lot of people coming to it, but the people who are there, all the vendors, there's a ton of us, and we do a ton of exchanging, talking, learning from each other. I don't necessarily see the public learning a ton, but it's a great event for all the energy like people and all that to get together. And hopefully it can be somehow more enticing to the public to learn more about. Maybe it's the timing, again, it's not in the fall when you're starting to get cold and thinking about energy and stuff like that, but
And I think they're doing it earlier this year. I think they're doing it the weekend right after Labor Day. Last year it was like later in September. So it's a little earlier in September this year.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think this year it's
Is it September 6th or something?
September the 6th. Yep, Saturday the 6th from 10 to 2 in Virgins. It's Virgins City Park. And
Yep.
kind of looking at Julian's email, it sounds like really the sort of co-hosting element to it is more just kind of putting our weight behind it, putting our name on, flyers and posting on Front Porch Forum, suggesting vendors from Bristol. And I can think of certainly of course their name now escapes me. The All Earth Renewables, like
Yeah.
they'd be interested, talk to Carly about that. So I mean,
Mhm.
I don't really see any reason to not do this because sounds like it'd be a great way to commute to sort of get together with people in the county and if we want to put our name behind it, I mean we believe in the idea, so it makes sense to me. I just wanted to kind of gauge everybody else's interest
I
before
think it's
I
great.
responded to Julian and said, "Yeah, Bristol's in. Let us know what we can do."
I wonder if there'd be any interest in rotating location on a 3-year basis.
I was thinking that might be the intention of us being
Yeah,
asked in, so
yeah,
that they could unload it next year
yep.
and have it in Bristol. Yeah, yeah.
So we should be aware that that might be hanging out there.
Yep.
I think it's a good idea. We
Yeah,
should
I do too. I think it would be
should
great.
do it.
Yeah.
And I think what I know about it, because, you know, they've reached out to me for window dressers, is that it's really the Regional Planning Commission that, you know, organizes it and
Right.
everything. I think they might, so there may not be a lot of work associated with it. It may just be more, you know, having, you know, helping them get the place and stuff like that. If it does turn out that they want to do it in different places, because I think they're dealing with all like the, you know, registering vendors and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Well, I think it's a great idea. I will respond to Julian that Bristol that you know we all agree that it's a great idea. We you know we
Mhm.
want to be involved. We can definitely be part of it. And to just let us know what we need to do. And yeah, just so for everybody's scheduling, it is I've got the email up here. It is that Saturday the 6th, 10 to 2, September the 6th, 10 to 2. In Virgins, and then yeah, it's a good point to note, and I got it down here in the notes that we should probably be prepared for someone to ask us, oh, let's do it at the Bristol Town Green in 2026,
Mhm.
which you know maybe that's good. I mean that makes sense. Maybe that would be good because I know we're always trying to look for events in town too.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I don't think there would be any issue with
Yeah.
coordinating with the town to do it in 2026 or beyond.
Totally.
And
Do you-
maybe we should plan, you know, I'm sure we could plan to have a, you know, have our own table, Bristol Energy Committee table, and we could probably get, you know, we could probably do some of the Efficiency Vermont stuff like Sally that we've done before at like the farmers market and stuff. And maybe, you know, just talk about some of the projects that we've undertaken. You know, we could talk about our MERC, we could talk about, you know, the EV chargers, we could talk about, you know, community solar, you know, just to kind of highlight the work that you all have done, that we
Yeah.
all have done.
I got an envelope sent to me. I requested um, Efficiency Vermont materials, and they sent me an envelope of stuff. So we've got that for the Veep workshop, and also I'm sure there'll be leftovers for the energy fair as well. So
Right.
Yeah.
And
I
then
have
you
leftovers.
have a bunch too, right, Sally?
I have leftovers from 3 years ago from Efficiency
Right.
Vermont. So
do you still have one of those hats?
Yeah,
I
those
don't know. Do we?
red hats.
Yeah, I think I do.
You
Okay,
might have
maybe
given
there.
them away. We might have
Maybe
given
there
those
are.
away, Sally.
Yeah, I can't remember what's in the box right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, door
And then
prize.
Becca just lives in Moncton, so if we ever need any more, we know where to get it.
And I have the big green table cover as well.
All right. Excellent. So I will respond to Julian that we're in, and we'll see what next steps are, what they need from us as
Sounds
they
great.
as we move forward with that event. Okay. Other business, anything we have not talked about that anybody wants to bring up? Anything at all from anyone?
Nope.
Wow. Quite a bunch. All right, famous last anything else for the good of the cause, as they say. Anybody have anything else? If not, I will type up the meeting minutes and distribute as usual. And our next meeting will be the same day as the Veep Energy Navigators event. So just be aware of
Oh,
that.
great.
And
That
What
is
is
our
that?
meeting.
yeah, it's the same day. It's the 18th. So um I think we were gonna do a
Yeah.
kind of since we're all gonna be there kind of thing, treat that as the meeting, I guess. And if there's
Right.
anything we had to um update, we can do it at that point. But I think there's going to be plenty of email traffic in the next couple of weeks, especially as we gear up for that event. So we definitely don't have to wait before our next meeting, you know, to talk about anything else other than the SEAC event. So I feel like there's good communication. So just keep it up, I guess, would be my thought. So yeah, I'll type up the meeting minutes, distribute them, and thanks everybody for your time. And thanks, Gary, for coming. Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks.
And thanks as
Hey,
always,
Dan.
Jim.
And send us what to send on Front Porch Forum, the blurb for the thing.
All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye, Al.
Thanks everybody. Bye. Have a good night.
You too.